gonna be an experience video. I was the leader of a weekend retreat, and I had a lot to do. And at a point, I became so overwhelmed and frustrated. I really felt like the people don't really want to spend time with God, and they don't really get why we should spend so much time with God, and they just didn't get it, and I was so frustrated. Like, how can I make people want to be with Jesus? And then I had to realize that no, I'm not capable of doing that. Like, I can't make people want Jesus. And so I was frustrated, and I felt like there's no point in doing that whole retreat, and and I felt really helpless. And as I started to worship, like I saw the people connecting with God, and it was amazing. There was an amazing atmosphere of worship there, and I felt like the angel armies filled up the room, and this hundreds and hundreds of angels told me that we understand you. It makes sense here. What you do makes sense to us. And where we come from, this makes a lot of sense. Like wasting away a whole weekend being with Jesus makes a lot of sense. And we are the majority, and we think it makes sense what you do. And God just comforted me so much. And there was an afternoon when people were just so blessed in worship. Like, I was just watching them, and I was amazed. I was just watching people how they connect with God. And there were people who were struggling with things in their lives, and they were getting healed and delivered. And there were some who have already lost their lives for Jesus, and they were just weeping. And there were guys who were just resting in God, and yeah, it was amazing. And and seeing that to everyone there's something different happening, it was amazing. And I had a lot of idea what to teach on, but I never thought on the things I plan to teach on, because Holy Spirit brought up other things. And God has done an amazing work in me. Like, I really felt like I'm Jesus at some points of this weekend. Of course, I didn't always acted like Jesus, but this realization that I was so much like Jesus in that evening or in that situation, it just provoked me, and it just changed the whole concept of myself. Like, sometimes I caught a glimpse of myself in a mirror, and I was like, oh, you look so much like Jesus. And I enjoyed myself so much. Like, I haven't enjoyed me that much in my whole life. I just loved loving people and taking care of them, and just be like God to them, be like Jesus to them, just love on them. And I've never experienced Jesus through myself as much as I did on this the weekend. So it was amazing. So the way I think about myself changed a lot. And after a while, the people were liberated enough to share what they had and what they experienced with Jesus, and there were amazing testimonies. And usually these testimonies came from times they had with Jesus on their own. So not from the preachings or the sessions we did, from their own time. Like they were taking walks in the woods on the property, and they were doing whatever the Holy Spirit felt, Holy Spirit led them to, and they were soaking in their lunch break or things like that. And they encountered God so much, and they had amazing revelation, and they started to share these things. And yeah, it was the thing. I felt like, okay, it's so worth it. Like the people start to have it on their own without anyone's help. And that's the thing that the Holy Spirit taught me, that it was my invitation to them, and I always respond to my own invitation. So if I hand out invitation cards, as you did when you invited people, then I will sit at the table and wait for the other one to show up. Like I gave the invitation, and now I'm sitting at the table, and opposite to me there is an empty chair, and I'm waiting for the invited people. And that's what I've seen happening. Like Jesus responded to his own invitation, and I only got to observe what Jesus was doing and nothing more. And every time I try to do more than just observing what God is doing, then I spoiled it. But when I was just observing it, Jesus was doing it, and people were experiencing the God experience of their lives, and I couldn't intervene, and it was the most beautiful thing. Because sometimes we love to make things happen, and Jesus doesn't work this way. He happens, and he allows you to watch him happen, and that's all. If you try to do more, even if it's with the best intentions, you spoil his work. His work is his, like exclusively his. And he doesn't allow you to help him out. The greatest testimony for me was that I had so many tasks to do, and still like I wasn't like terribly tired, and I really felt like just loving on people, and I was so high. Like even after it, I felt like um, counseling a guy on the train for more than an hour, because why not? Like I came home and I was so turned on. I was like looking forward to another event. Like, couldn't I do it all over again? Like, and in the following days, there was a layer of pink smoke and everything. Like, it felt like the windows are smiling at me on the houses, and everything was just loving me. Like, I felt like my pillow was loving me, just like everything was just so full of this life of God. Yeah. Uh, Sometimes I ask God, like, what can I do? Like, what's the next step on this event? And God kept telling me, let me hold you so that I can hold them. because I always shifted to like, what can I give to these people? And God kept reminding me, oh no, that's not how the things work. Let me hold you so that I can hold them. And it's not because they didn't have their own relationship with God. Many of them have way much more depth in their intimacy with Jesus than I do. But if I ask Jesus, like, what can I do to like help them? He said, oh no, you don't help them by looking at them. You help them by looking at me. Yeah, it was amazing. And the next day, I still had this pink cloud. And I went on a meeting that is usually very boring for me. And I was so drunk on the love of God. Like I was on the ground, blackout, in rest in the spirit, and it was amazing. And when I had to climb up, I was just like, you know, the life of God was just sprinkling out of me. And the next day I went to worship set. I was tired. I slept for an hour at a worship set. And when I woke up, the Holy Spirit flooded me, and my head was up, and my chest was like full of energy, and I had to lay down, and I was laughing and shaking for hours. So yeah, it was intense. So even after this weekend, I was so aware of Jesus, and in random situations, like I started to write teaching material for another training, and I was like, okay, then Jesus will be in that. But subconsciously, I thought Jesus will be less in the writing of the material than when I look at him, like just on him and exclude everything else. And he just surprised me so much. Like he was so present in the writing of the material. Like it was amazing. So yeah, one of the experiences of my life was that, just realizing like, okay, Jesus is so one with me, like he can show up anytime and in any way and in any intensity. And it wasn't because of the weekend, it's because of what Jesus has done, But this weekend helped raising my awareness, like, yeah, Jesus is that much present. Yeah. Yeah, so since that weekend I'm on cloud 9, and I just enjoy simple things so much. Like it makes no sense. I'm like in another world, and people tell me like, yeah, you are not in this world, and yeah, you're so right. I'm not in this world. Like in the world I live in right now, the windows are smiling. And my blanket is loving me. Yeah, yeah. I it's not a big deal actually. I just got a very very short little glimpse of what it feels like to live in the new creation, and I happen to like it. So I don't know what it's gonna feel like to become fully aware of who I really am, thanks to my union with Jesus. God bless you guys.